Principles of Ethical Communication.
Good morning, everybody. We are the Group 2 and we are given the task to report about the principles of ethical communication. So, first of all, we'll give you a brief description about ethical communication means. So, if we say ethical communication, this simply refers to a practice of conveying honest information in a manner that is not intended to be misleading and also enhances human worth and dignity by fostering truthfulness, fairness, responsibility, and personal integrity and respect for self and others. So we're going to discuss the principles of ethical communication. So these are the principles of ethical communication. We have here the be truthful and honest. Being honest means communicating that what is known to be true to a listener or present only the parts of the truth means we should share a 100% facts to our listener. Also, letting the listener take the data that is objectively presented and believe what they choose to believe is a core goal of ethical communication. Additionally, ethical communication should be based on accurate information and facts. Okay, we have also here the active listening. Active listening is about hearing someone or listening to them, but these two are different things. For ethical communication to be effective, the recipient should be proactively listen to the speaker and not just hear what they want to hear, but also making question or also means asking question when any point is not completely understood for the sake of any clarification.
Number 3, seek to understand others rather than to be right or more ethical than though. Okay, so it is very, very important for us to understand others so that we are going to know what is the real problem. And if we learn about the real problem, we might perhaps think for a better solution. So it says here, reject closed mindsets and try to reconsider other people's viewpoints. We have to take time to listen before jumping to conclusions. It is so it is so dangerous that if we didn't take time to listen to others, sometimes this thing or this conversation will lead into commotion. And I think that is quite ineffective. And as we seek to understand others, sometimes there are times that we love joking, right? Because we make things or the atmosphere comfortable as what we are thinking about. Be aware of your surroundings, especially when joking. Because if we keep on thinking that joke is okay, that will lead to a commotion too. Because there are times that our jokes is not acceptable to the other party or to the recipient. So we have to be careful. I have an example here, a short video example, and I will show it to you. What happened? So I think you are familiar with Miss Aline, the girlfriend of Nas Daily. So I'm just going to show this to you as an example, and I think there's a great lesson that we're going to get from here. So let's get started with it. Here it is. Oh. Wait a minute. So that is the question of the host. He used the other woman to ask for him. Let's see how Miss Aline and Nas Daily will respond to this kind of dirty talks or dirty questions. after the guy asks, or after this woman who is standing next to the host a rude question, now it leads to a commotion. Let's see what will happen next. Now she cried. So please let us be sensitive when we are joking, especially nowadays. Nowadays, like guy talks is becoming normal. We should always think of our recipient's feelings. So there you go. Number 4, respect the boundaries of others. So it says here, know your boundaries and respect the privacy of others. There's no need to know about their personal lives unless it's absolutely necessary. Never force someone to speak. All right, so let's get to it. So sometimes isn't it that we are thinking like, "Oh, I want to be friend with that girl or with that guy." So sometimes when we are talking to that guy or girl that we want to be a part of our life, instead of saying hi, hello, or how are you first, sometimes we are like asking unconsciously, which is not the right things. Like, for example, oh, I think you are married to that Arabo and blah, blah, blah. Is that true? Something like that. So instead of instead of saying the correct things first, we jump into into a disrespectful thing, and I think it's not going to work. Then number 4, if you didn't respect the boundaries of others, the two of you might become enemies, right? So in number 5, avoid interrupting and side conversations. So there are times that we are so excited to talk more about ourselves, and we tend to forget the other people's opinion or our recipient. So when the recipient is speaking, give him or her the opportunity to finish. Don't get too excited when it comes to talking, because if we keep on doing that, then that is a bit selfish. Okay? So when the recipient has finished speaking, pause for 3 seconds to allow time for him to think before continuing. So for example, the two of you is done talking, or the partner is talking, you have to let him finish first and then pause for maybe 2 to 3 seconds, because this partner might say something again. All right? So it doesn't mean that he or she already stopped. It means that they are finished. Sometimes they just stop because they're thinking of another things. They're just trying to process some thoughts in their mind because they have something to say to you. All right, so that's it. Thank you.
And we have speak non judgmentally. Ethically and concisely, communicating means speaking in a non judgmental manner with every recipient, negating unnecessary conflict, which typically creates a breakdown in communication and causes misunderstandings. Non-judgmental is avoiding judgments based on one's personal and especially moral standards. Non-judgmental language is using words that do not put a negative interpretation to what the person is sharing. Instead of using words like good, bad, right, or wrong, it is using more neutral and non-judgmental words to express that you are hearing the person rather than judging what they say. Being non-judgmental means that you don't see something as good or bad. Instead, you just observe it or experience it. You don't need to make any sense of a situation. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions are other people's behavior. When you're being non judgmental, you simply experience things in an objective way, noticing, acknowledging, and accepting things as they are, not as you think they should or shouldn't be. People are just people. Events and situations are just events and situations. Feelings and thoughts are just feelings and thoughts. None of them are good or bad. They are just what they are. Being non judgmental is becoming an observer of life and not to decide about a behavior or expression if it was right or wrong. It is a behavior when we first observe both our own and others' reaction. And it doesn't mean that you approve to the things that go against your values. Serving our reactions is a way to empathize with and understand rather than judge other people. To become non-judgmental, the development of an empathic approach to people is needed. Being a non-judgmental observer is a way to learn to ask non-judgmental questions first from ourselves, then from others. And here's some common responses to avoid. Those are the key to be prepared and to remind yourself to be non-judgmental, as we are not there to criticize, judge, or share our personal opinions about their behaviors. By staying non-judgmental, they are more likely to feel comfortable about discussing their issues and to continue the conversation. They are more likely to come back to you again when they're struggling, which means you have more opportunities to help them. Always remember that there is always an alternative way to say exactly the same thing in a non-judgmental way. Another principle is make sure that everyone has time to speak. Allowing others to speak is important for the creation of a civil, effective working. We should also be aware that communicating is a two-way process, so we should exercise to encourage and give chance to others to share their perspective as also a key to language development. The exchange of thoughts and ideas, and of course listening to each other, letting someone to express their insight, especially what they feel, is the most human and humanizing things that we can do. Fully present to one another. We learn also to listen. It is where we develop the capacity of empathy. It is where we experience the joy of being heard and understood. Some people are afraid to speak up because they have the fear of being rejected or judged by others. By encouraging them to speak will lead to gaining more self-confidence. Let them know and understand that voicing their opinions and sharing their ideas might help others and cause others to be inspired. Therefore, let everyone have the equal time to speak out if they want it. Below are the responses to remember. This is also a very effective move, especially if you have introverted or shy people around you, and also with people who have mental health issues.
So, next, endorse freedom of expression, diversity of perspective, and tolerance of objections to achieve decision making. All members of society are free to express their thoughts and opinions. We have freedom of expression where we can share whatever idea and knowledge that we have. We talk for what we believe is right. But of course, we should still remember that everything has a limitation. We use the given freedom responsibly. Next, we can easily get locked into our own beliefs, our own views, even our own language. However, this principle reminds us that there are different viewpoints out there which deserve respect. We should develop presentations with diversity in mind. Further, it holds that diverse viewpoints, including those that disagree with accepted authority, are important for the functioning of a democratic society. We have our own opinions, beliefs, especially on our different cultures. There will also be instances where we understand things differently. During those times, we should keep in mind to accept each other's opinion knowing that we can also learn from the perspectives of the speaker for us to be more informed on our surroundings. If there will be instances where you will communicate with people where both of you will fight for what you believe in, practice saying, I respect your opinion, but this is also my opinion, and then tell yours. That's it. Respect others' opinions so they will also respect yours. Next, promote access to communication resources and opportunities as necessary to fulfill human potential. Human communication is a skill that can and should be taught. We strongly believe that you can become a better, more ethical speaker. We all know how important communication is. We encourage everyone to learn and improve the way they talk and know the proper way to communicate well to different people. We should share our ideas to others and should make an effort using the language that everyone can understand. We have so many channels of media easily accessible to us. Let us make use of them to share our ideas so that we build relationship towards each other as well as better community. We interact with others. When sharing words to others, be considerate toward all listeners. See to it that you use the language that they are comfortable with, that they can understand well the message, so that all can relate with it. We build a better community through communication. And the last but not the least, avoid speaking for others, for example, by characterizing what others have said without checking your understanding, or by universalizing your opinions, beliefs, values, and conclusions, assuming everyone shares them. Filter the messages you share to others. Your listeners have the right to know the difference between facts and personal opinions. Be mindful on what to tell to others. When sharing ideas to others, you tell to the receiver if what you're telling is only what you believe and know or it was based on facts. Similarly, we have an obligation to respect others' privacy and confidentiality when speaking. If information is obtained from printed or publicly distributed material, it's perfectly appropriate to use that information without getting permission as long as you cite it. There are also situations when we should know the word privacy. When an individual told you to not share his or her words, then do not share it. Keep silent. When you only get the idea to the internet or books, then cite it. When a speaker shares good words and you want to tell it to your friends, then tell them who said it. We practice good conversations with other people. Our words should always be appropriate. Determine how we say words properly, that it is suitable to whom we talk to. We should remember these things, knowing that we communicate to other individuals every day. With these different principles of ethical communication, we can create a better community where everything is in order, everyone is understanding and respecting each other. Before we end, let me leave you this quote saying, communication is a two-way process. And communicating ethics should be a conversation in which everyone participates. So thank you for watching our video, and please don't forget the lessons that you have learned for today. Again, thank you so much and God bless.